Hello everyone, my name is Mr. Rage and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are going to be talking about the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake. And right off the bat, I'm going to say I am very pumped for this game. And honestly, it feels good to be excited for a game again because, man, as you guys know, the video game industry is really not doing so good these past couple years. So it's been quite a long time since I have been as excited as I am now for a game. It feels good to be excited again. It feels good to actually have faith in a developer again. Capcom is awesome. I'm going to say this right now. Capcom is one of the best modern developers we have these days. Um, Even though I am aware that they were going to make Resident Evil 7 a live service game, it's good that they quickly changed their minds. But, anyways, we really actually gotta stop and talk about Capcom for a minute. We really gotta give thanks to Capcom because, let's be honest, if it wasn't for Capcom, the survival horror genre would be in an even worse state than it already is. Capcom are the only ones who are actually keeping the survival horror genre alive. If it wasn't for Capcom, I bet it would already be close to being dead. It would already be in the grave. But Capcom is out here making these quality survival horror games for us. First, it was Resident Evil 7. Then, of course, we get Resident Evil 2. Then Resident Evil Village. And then we get the superb Resident Evil 3 remake. And not only that, but if it wasn't for Capcom's Resident Evil remakes, we would not be getting a Dead Space remake or a Silent Hill 2 remake because those other developers look at Capcom's games and they're like, oh wow, Resident Evil remake was actually really successful. And then they have hope of rebooting their own survival horror franchise, and that's why we have the Dead Space remake coming out, along with the Silent Hill 2 remake and the Alone in the Dark remake. If it wasn't for Capcom, we would be getting even worser horror games because Capcom is actually showing other developers that survival horror games are still good and profitable, especially if you actually make them good. Because Capcom's Resident Evil remakes and Resident Evil 7 and 8 were such amazing survival horror games. Probably some of the best in modern times. So we really just got to give thanks to Capcom right now because Capcom, they are really, really doing a fine job over there. It's great to actually have developers who know what they're doing handling this genre because, in our last video, we talked about those garbage ass indie developers who are pretty much abusing the genre. This is a perfect counter to those garbage ass indie games because, not like I said earlier, even Dead Space Remake is coming out, along with Alone in the Dark and Silent Hill 2, and that's all thanks to Capcom, because Capcom is showing these other developers that remakes are actually good and profitable, and will be even better if you actually make them good. But Resident Evil 4 Remake, this game looks so amazing already. Like, honestly, it doesn't even look like a Resident Evil game. It just looks like a really dark and twisted survival horror game, and that's another thing I love about it. I love how creative Capcom has also been doing with the Resident Evil games. I mean, with the remakes, they're still giving us your typical zombie shooters or zombie survival horror games, and then of course with Resident Evil 7 you had the Mole Men monsters, and then with Resident Evil Village you had fucking werewolves. So it's honestly amazing how creative Capcom is being with their Resident Evil franchise, because if we just kept getting zombies and apocalyptic shit, it would have been boring, but Capcom is really, really knocking it out of the park. This game already looks fantastic. I mean, like I said, it doesn't even look like a Resident Evil game. If you showed me this game, but didn't put the Resident Evil title and didn't put in a Resident Evil character, I would think it was just some really, really dark and grim, twisted survival horror game coming out, but I'm glad that this actually is a Resident Evil game because I love the Resident Evil franchise. I actually started playing Resident Evil 2 years ago, and ever since then, I have been completely hooked on the series. And this is coming from someone who used to be an Outlast fanboy, so I absolutely love how creative and original Capcom is being here with the Resident Evil 4 remake. I love how they're actually trying to make this game better than the original. And the thing about the original is the original Resident Evil 4 is actually pretty outdated. Not only is it outdated because of its garbage tank controls, but Resident Evil 4 is not even a horror game. I mean, yeah, it's kind of scary, but this remake actually looks really terrifying. And that's another great thing about the remake. Not only is Capcom trying to actually make this a true remake that will be far better than the original, but they're actually even trying to make Resident Evil 4 for once scary, because you could accept it or not, Resident Evil 4, the OG Resident Evil 4, was not a scary game, right? Resident Evil 4 was not a scary game, all right? It was kind of scary, but it was not really a horror game. It was more of an action game. This remake actually looks like a true horror game. The enemies you see in this game, like from the trailer, they look terrifying already. So I cannot wait to see what else we get to see when the game eventually comes out. So, Resident Evil 4, this game is awesome. Dare I say it, this will literally be the best survival horror game of 2023. It's a bold statement considering all the other horror games that are coming out, but Capcom, when it comes to Capcom, it's hard to be as quality as Capcom because their games are quality. Resident Evil is awesome. This remake looks awesome. I cannot wait to see this game. I will definitely be pre-ordering it. Let me know, what do you guys think about the upcoming Resident Evil 4 remake? I'm very hyped for this game. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed, and I will see you guys in the next video. Take care of y'all, and happy holidays.